Hey, good morning everybody, it's Bobby, and this video is somewhat of an offshoot of last week's video in which I detailed the three aspects of the game that I think people should give the most consideration. And that is keep the ball in play, and don't chip twice, and don't three-putt. And I got a couple of questions, and those questions were basically, all right, well, what is it that people are guilty of practicing that would be apart from those three areas? That was kind of a big umbrella that you cast out there. What is it that people are wasting their time with? And there are four that leap to mind right away, and I'm going to name them quickly, and then I'll go through each one. Number one, driving distance. Number two, trying to get backspin. Number three, wanting to work the ball, curve it left or right at will. And then the last one is what I call the dark alley syndrome, so let's get into it. Driving distance, and why is that something people shouldn't concern themselves with? The average handicap has not changed in like 70 years. It's always been 17.8 for women, or excuse me, for men, and then something like 26.9 for women, and it never fluctuates by more than a stroke. It's always been the same. Yet, there's no doubt that the clubs today hit the ball a lot farther. The tour players are 25 yards longer than they were just 30 years ago. And that distance helps them. Tour players are shooting lower than ever. Collegiate players are shooting lower than ever. 4 and 5 handicaps are also will benefit from more yards. But the average player will not, and I'll tell you why. If you take a person who is a C+ in driving accuracy and also a C+ in driving distance, and then suddenly endow them with superhuman strength, and now they've got a A+ in driving distance. So they're a C+ in driving accuracy, but now they're an A+ in driving distance. What's their next round going to be like? I can tell you, if they don't place restraint on themselves and be judicious in their club selection, it's going to be a mess. Because remember, they're a C+ in accuracy. And now they've got to, instead of hitting the ball 200 yards, they're hitting the ball 300 yards. And let me tell you, a ball hit 10 degrees offline that goes 200 yards is still in play. But a ball that goes 300 yards 10 degrees offline is bouncing off of homes. And so we have to be most concerned with accuracy. And when you get to a sort of a ranking of an A, a B+ or A, then distance will help you. But until then, accuracy should be what you're after. All right, backspin. What about backspin? Bobby, I'd love to be able to stop that ball on the green. I think too often people consider that a skill that you develop alongside your golf swing. In other words, I'm going to learn my correct golf swing, how to hit a golf ball, and then as a separate affair, I'm going to learn backspin. It's not that at all. A ball struck anything like a proper way is going to have plenty of backspin. I'm talking about with an iron. If you hit the ball on the descent and then hit a little ground after impact, the ball will spin for you. There's no doubt about it. You don't have to, there's nothing occult about it, nothing else you have to know. But the clean picker, the person who tends to just scrape the ball off the ground, doesn't really know it, but in 9 cases out of 10, the clean picker reaches the lowest part of their swing, an inch or two before the ball. And so their miss tends to be a little bit of a thin shot. They scull a lot, and those balls don't spin. And so it does seem difficult to them to ever get any backspin because what they're missing is that sophisticated approach of the better player to hit the ball and then the ground. So if you learn to take a divot, you'll learn to spin the ball, and there's nothing else to it other than that. The next thing, how do you work the ball? I want to be able to curve the ball both left and right. And to illustrate why you might not worry about that and why it shouldn't take any sort of priority, I want to remind you that across this great land of ours, every single golf course has at least one player who is known for getting a whole lot out of a lousy skill set, out of a poor game. For some reason, scores well. And this is usually sort of an awkward, gangly looking person who cuts across the ball takes off to the left, it curves back to the right, so he's always kind of got a little slice going on. He doesn't know why he slices, doesn't know how to fix it, but he does know that he can rely on it. And so the consistency with which he turns in low scores is baffling to some people. But the whole reason that he's able to do that is because he's unwilling to do battle with it. He doesn't fight it. He accepts it. He aims down the left side, and it comes back to the target, and he shoots 77, 78, 79. How did that guy shot that? Yeah, that guy, because he's not fighting with his ball flight. If that person went out and decided that on this day he's going to hit everything with a draw, then his golf score would be just as ugly as his golf swing. Okay, so whatever you have, as long as you play it, you can be sure it works well. And the last thing, and this is what I call the dark alley syndrome. This is a case of the person who doesn't understand golf and doesn't understand themselves and is trying to fix problems that didn't even exist until they created it. Now, I'll give you an example. I had a guy not long ago. Bobby, I need to learn how to hit my fairway wood, my 3-wood, out of a fairway bunker. really, this guy's about a 25 handicap. Why that? Well, that cost me 10, I made a 10 the other day because I couldn't do it. Well, what are you talking about? Well, I was playing number 4 at Apple, and I hit it in that fairway bunker, and I got my 3, you know, because it's a par 5, I got my 3-wood out, and I drove that right into that bank. Well, it took me 2 to get out. I ended up making a 10. That thing cost me 5 shots, my inability to hit that fairway, that 3-wood out of the bunker. And I'm going, you hit it into the lip that's this high, that lip that requires a 9-iron to get over? So you see what's happening. This problem didn't exist until he created it. And now he's trying to fix the wrong end of it. He's trying to fix his inability to hit the 3-wood. Well, nobody in the world can hit that shot. And remember, the first consideration when you get in a bunker is take enough loft to get over the intervening lip. And if it takes 9-iron loft to get over it, but yet you're 3-wood distance away, then you've just got to hit the 9-iron knowing you're going to come up short, which would be a far better result than driving it into that bank. And that's what he did. And instead of realizing, this is what I mean, doesn't understand the game and doesn't understand himself, doesn't understand that he's fixing the wrong end of the problem, and that it would be far simpler to just take enough club, knowing that you're not going to get as far out there as you'd like to, but at least you keep it in play. And the reason I call that the dark alley syndrome is it's kind of like the guy who says, I need to learn to fight. Well, why is that? Because I've been beaten up 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Why? Well, there's a shortcut from work on my way home through this dark alley, and I walk through there, and these guys always grab me and work me over. Hey, here's a good idea. Stop going to the dark alley. The problem is fixed. Don't fix the problem that you're creating. Just look back one decision and decide that you're not going there. All right, and so those are the 4 areas. Driving distance, only helpful if you're accurate. Span, you'll get it for sure if you hit down and through the shot. Work the ball, don't worry about it. And if you've got a natural shot pattern, stick with it. And then finally, don't create problems for yourself just so you can fix the wrong end of them. Make the right decisions and you won't have so much to worry about. I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you next week.